Folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Sitting out here by a little campfire. My wife and I made one of our fireside chat videos today. It's going up on Rumble, so you'll be able to watch it over there. So please consider going over to Rumble and checking that out. Pretty much everything that I'm posting here on YouTube is being mirrored over on Rumble, but we're also occasionally putting up some additional content over there because it's more of a free speech platform. So we talk about things, and they're longer format videos. They're usually about an hour long, and we just kind of sit and talk, and you just never know what we're going to talk about. Today's video over on Rumble, we talked about well, more of this banking stuff that's happening, what's probably really happening behind the scenes, at least in our opinions. And then we also go into a definite alternative to banking and a possible solution, albeit probably temporary, but still a solution for people in protecting their money from all this banking collapse. And so we talk about that over there also. So just thought I would throw that out to you. Yeah, this banking stuff, it's not gone away. Don't for 1 minute buy into anything that you might hear in the news or online, that it wasn't that big a deal, that it's all over, that Joe Biden saved the day. I actually saw that. I think it was Politico had an article, something like that, Joe Biden just swooped in and rapidly saved the day. He's, you know, our savior now. He protected the country. He's such a good guy. That little 3-minute speech where he just turned and walked away from any questions whatsoever. That did it. That fixed it. Thank goodness we got that guy in office. Oh, it's still going on, and probably we're already seeing the narrative starting to shift, because they're doing stuff behind the scenes. Some of it we know, probably a lot of it we won't know till after it all happens. But they're consuming the small banks, and there is a type of bank run happening. It's not people rushing to the banks. I talked about that this morning, but there's a lot of people moving their accounts out of these smaller and more regional banks into bigger banks, which is part of it. And these bigger banks, they're gobbling up all the wealth. Biggest wealth transfer in history. Said that so many times over the last 3 years. And it's happening again, and they're just dumping more money into the system, so it's going to cause inflation to go up. But anyways, we talk about that also in that video today. But I wanted to talk about something else that's happening in the news, and maybe this is just a distraction. You know, it's possible that this is just a distraction to what's happening with the banks, because they have to do that too. They don't want you to know exactly what they're doing, okay? So it's possible that's it. It's also, it's also possible that this thing that's happened this afternoon could be a precursor to some increased conflict over in Europe. So if you haven't heard, depending on which side you're hearing, according to the United States, 2 Russian planes struck, didn't use missiles and guns, but knocked down a United States drone in international waters in the Black Sea. So this is one of those big Reaper drones, the big ones that can carry, you know, it's attack drone is what it is. Missiles, bombs, all that kind of stuff. And apparently the Russians claim that this Reaper drone was getting too close to Russian territory, and that it had turned its transponder off, and they perceived it as a threat, that it looked like it was headed towards Russian water, territory, whatever. And so they tried to distract it and fly around it, see what was going on. They dumped some fuel on it. And then all of a sudden, this thing just took a nosedive into the water. That's the Russians' side of the story. The American side of the story is that they bumped this drone with one of their planes, causing it to fall out of the sky. It's very possible, from what the news is reporting, that where this is located, that the Russians will get to the drone before the Americans do. They're a lot closer, so they could do the recovery. I don't know that that's that big of a deal, but we'll see. Russians are saying that this is a big provocation. that they're sending, that we are sending drones too close to them, attack drones. And would we have any business doing that? The United States has already said that maybe we'll start sending more stuff into the Black Sea. Maybe we'll start monitoring it more. There's been certain people in office on our side, I think it was a senator, a congressman, calling this an outright attack from Russia on the United States. There were calls immediately between the embassies, United States calling for emergency meeting with the Russian ambassador. I can't see that this would cause a war, but I mean, crazy things have happened before too, so it could eventually spiral out of control. I think that it's pretty clear that this kind of stuff is going to continue happening. You know, we're also we're saying that if North Korea detonates, tests any kind of nuclear weapon or anything, that we might just completely blow them off the face of the planet. Sorry, the camera is a little jiggly right now. There's all kinds of stuff happening with the war, and is that where this is headed? Is there a distraction involved here, or is there a real threat? Is there a real possible chance that this could spiral out of control? Well, definitely, very likely. Anything is possible anymore with all the stuff that's happening in regards to war and conflict and things like that. So I wouldn't put it past any of this stuff happening. I don't think we're going to see this as being it, but we'll see how that plays out. The fact is there's definitely still stuff going on, and people get distracted because of the banking stuff, and maybe this is to distract from the banking stuff, and something else is to distract from this, and more and more stuff is happening. And the very likelihood, like I've said all along, whether it's a planned or it's just accidental, because there's always that human error factor, that something goes wrong and the wrong person fires the wrong shot or flies the wrong direction, or even if it's not human error, a missile that's just, these things are accurate most of the time, but sometimes they're off, and a missile that's supposed to hit one place accidentally hits someplace else. Yeah, it could cause war start because of things like that. So we have to be aware of that. There was one other thing in the news, and this is going to be silly to some of you, but I think it's worth mentioning. And it's from some major news sources. Military Times, magazine talked about this, and Newsmax, a couple other places, that a Pentagon expert and Harvard, he's also with Harvard University, has a report for the Pentagon that they believe that there is an alien mothership somewhere in our solar system near us, and that all of these little unidentified flying objects are coming from that alien mothership, that there's an alien mothership somewhere near us in space, and that's where they're coming from. Now, the reason why I mention this is I actually saw something funny the other day, and it was something to the effect of, things are really bad when the government basically admits that there's UFOs and aliens, and no one really reacts to it. And that's pretty much what's happened over the last, starting last year with the UFO hearings, and then this year with the whole balloon thing. And, we had that general saying, well, we have entertained the thought that it could be extraterrestrials. He didn't say, there's no such thing as extraterrestrials. Come on, whatever. Now, I'm not saying that I believe in their narrative or extraterrestrials, at least not in the sense that science is calling them, mainstream science. But I do believe that this is possible for this to be another narrative change. That at some point, it's very possible that aliens, disclosure of aliens, could be a major deal for us. And it's possible that this little by little leaking of it is conditioning people. I've said for years that I don't know that people would even care. In fact, if they did, if aliens landed somewhere and it became publicly known, most people wouldn't be scared. They'd be like, oh, this is awesome. I want to go get a selfie with them, you know, that kind of stuff. I think that's just where we are in the world, and it goes with all the conditioning that we've had over the years. And at some point, it's very possible that that could be their narrative. A lot of people believe that it's, you know, fallen angels, Nephilim, that kind of stuff. Very possible, very likely, most likely. And that whether it's that or whether it's some kind of CG blue beam, that this alien disclosure could definitely lead us to a one world government, which of course is leading us to a beast system. I just find it interesting that it's becoming so casually nonchalant now that, it's an alien mothership, and there's all these unidentified flying objects that have unworldly propulsion systems and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of a wild card in a way right now, but I do believe that it's definitely within the realm of possibility that over the next months or maybe few years, that some kind of alien disclosure could happen that brings about world peace. We're right on the verge of annihilating half of the planet, or maybe we already have at that point. And then aliens come down and stop it, and they fix everything, and they bring us all together in a big kumbaya moment. Who knows? There's certainly a lot going on. This drone incident between United States and Russia is probably going to cause something more to happen. It's just another piece in the puzzle. It may not be a major piece, but certainly a piece. And very likely could cause things to lead to a point where things do spiral out of control. Because at some point, all of this buildup of troops and tensions, it's going to have a letting off steam point. And whether that's between us and Russia, or us and China, or us and North Korea, or Iran, or whatever, at some point, it's almost inevitable. It almost has to happen at this point for some kind of thing to happen between these nations. So we have to keep getting prepared, because with the economy stuff going on and everything else, we are in such an unstable position that it would be devastating for the economy, for our world, for just the whole system. And that's why we have to keep getting prepared, keep getting as self-sufficient as possible, and building not just your own preparedness, but community preparedness. That's important too. Go over to that Rumble video. I'll have a link down the description below to my Rumble channel. You can subscribe there if you like and watch that video that's been posted today. Like I said, it's about an hour long, and it's just a video with my wife and I sitting here at the fire, chit-chatting about all kinds of things. And we try to make them every week. So if you'd like to just have a hour-long video where it's almost like you're just sitting here at the fire talking with us, then certainly go over there and watch those. All right, folks, that's about all I have for right now. I'm going to get the telescope out and start looking for the alien mothership so that we can get prepared for first contact. Just kidding. Folks, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Throughout all history, precious metals have been the one solid asset that has held their value through banking failures, hyperinflation, and financial collapses. Visit the link below to moneymetals.com to find a wide variety of silver and gold to secure your wealth with real money. When I purchase online, I choose moneymetals.com because of their fast and secure service and competitive pricing on a wide variety of precious metals. moneymetals.com in the link below.